Hey witches, it's the start of a new week, and you know what that means. It's time for Magical Mondays. So, not gonna lie, it's been a hard week for a lot of us. It's a lot of emotions running high. A lot of us are feeling very afraid. A lot of us are finding it hard to focus. And that's unfortunately kind of normal for us this year. Don't worry too much if that is where you're at today. If you're still feeling hurt, if you're still feeling sad, if you're still feeling afraid, if you're feeling powerless, just know that you're not the only one feeling that and that your feelings are valid. And there's nothing you have to do to change the way you are feeling. But what we're going to do today is draw a card and see what is the action that we need to be taking this week, or the inaction sometimes. Here we go. Here's the card that flew off the deck for us. Fudge. I wanted to use a stronger word, but I don't know who's watching these videos. So our card is the Nine of Swords. And let's see if you can see this really clearly. Oh, we've got yellow and blue as the main colors in this card. The figure is a female figure in kind of a bed under a blanket. She's obviously crying or has her head in her hands. And behind her are a bunch of like ghostly figures in robes. There's this like skull with a crown on it. So we've got the Nine of Swords. This, honestly, it hits about right, is all I have to say about that one. The Nine of Swords, if you have been with me for a while, I'm a witchy life coach. Hi, my name is Megan, and I do these card readings every Monday. As it started as a fun way for me to think of something to write to my email list, but honestly became a really beautiful way for me to find guidance and alignment as I move through my week and my work in a time that feels really, really hard. I started doing this last March after, it's just a hard, I don't even know how to talk about it. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. And the Nine of Swords, when it comes up for me, always signifies two things. One, that it's validating our sense of despair. It's validating our sense of this is overwhelming. This is too hard. This is like our hearts are hurting. And it feels like this is what we need to be doing, to be like in bed crying and sobbing because this is just too much and it shouldn't be happening and it's not right. Okay, so that's the first thing, is this card is validating us this week. But the second thing is that in the background, you see all these ghostly figures and they're all kind of pointing at the woman in the picture. And my interpretation of these figures is that this is our ancestors. This is our spirit guides. These are the forces that are rooting for us to succeed. And so even though this week our hearts might be really heavy and our hearts might be breaking and we might not know what the way forward is, we are not alone. You're not alone because if you look around and if you start to talk to the people in your life about what's going on, about what's happening in Minneapolis and about what's happening in ICE here in New York in the Hudson Valley, there is protests going on about an ICE facility that's getting ready to, or is proposed to open. And if you go out and you talk about these things, you will learn that you are not alone. There are so many other people around you who are feeling the same way and who are ready to scream and shout and stand up against evil, I guess is the word that we have to use now, because that's what they're doing. This card has a lot of main character energy, but not the fun kind of main character energy. Right? It's not the main character busting down doors and taking names and kicking ass. This is the main character when she is brought low, when she is looking around her and thinking, how could I possibly change what's going on? And she feels alone and she feels isolated. And this card comes to us this week to remind us that we are not alone, that even when it feels like we are alone in this, and even when it feels like we are in unprecedented times, that we actually have all of our ancestors, all of our spirit guides who have survived or have at least experienced similar times before. And us being here right now is proof that you can survive these kinds of unprecedented times. And you can come out of it better, and you can come out of it and create a better place, a better world to live in. Any kind of emotional, which is uncomfortable for me, knowing that I'm going to put this video online. Don't like to be emotional on the internet if I can help it. What does this card mean for us this week? What does it ask us to do? First and foremost, the Nine of Swords asks us to feel our feelings, to let yourself wallow a little bit, to let yourself feel the despair, to feel the discomfort, to feel the heartbreak of the moment. Do not rush past it. Do not go through your days pretending that everything is fine. When people ask you how you are, people say like, hey, how are you doing today? Don't smile and say, oh, I'm great. How about you? If you're feeling despair, say that, right? If you're feeling despair, feel that. Act how you would act if you were despairing, if you were heartbroken, and let yourself experience the fullness of that emotion, because the emotion is not an accident. The emotion is here to tell you something. And in order to learn the lesson that your emotions have to share with you, you might have to sit with those emotions as uncomfortable as they are. The other message that we are getting from the Nine of Swords today, my beautiful friends, is that you can ask for help. You can ask for help. You can seek direction. You're not alone. You don't have to figure this out by yourself. So this card asks you to figure out, who do you want to talk to this week? Who do you want to ask for help? And maybe that help is information and education on how you can take action. Maybe that help is for just someone to talk to and listen to in real life instead of just scrolling, doom scrolling on the internet. Maybe this week you spend time, if you do have a strong relationship with your spirit guides, with your ancestors, this is a good time to ask them for help specifically. You can light a candle, you can leave an offering, you can do a meditation where you call on your ancestors and ask them for guidance. It's the end of January. It's the month when a lot of people are feeling pressure to actually make movement on their New Year's resolutions, to do the things they said they were going to do. And this card is saying, fuck, it's okay if that doesn't happen this week, because something more important is going on, something bigger is going on in the collective, and you do deserve to process that in whatever way you need to. So go easy on yourself. Be gentle with yourself, especially if you are feeling the pressure to perform and to show up and to keep chugging along as if nothing is wrong and nothing is abnormal. I want you to know 100% that the cards say you don't have to do that this week. In fact, you shouldn't, because the more you push past that, the more you are going to disconnect from your actual emotions, and those emotions are there for a reason, right? If you have questions about this, pop on in the comments. I am an intuitive tarot reader. I don't go by the official meanings of the cards. If you have questions about what intuitive tarot means, or if you see this card, if you see the Nine of Swords and you got a completely different reading out of it, I would love for you to share that in the comments. The reason I always share the exact card and the exact picture of the card I'm using today is because I want you to be able to look at it and find your own interpretation, right? As they say in practical magic, there's a little witch in all of us, and you are 100% qualified to look at this card and find your own meaning and your own path. But for me, this is the practical. This is the practical side. Set aside time for yourself this week to feel, to be in touch with your emotions, to calm, to settle down, to despair, to cry, to yell, to do what you need to do, and ask for help. And if you want more details and a more nuanced breakdown, you can subscribe to Magical Mondays, the email list, where I will go in depth every week to give you more of this reading. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope this is helpful for you. My name is Megan, the Witchy Life Coach. You can find me at megangillman.net, or you can follow me here on YouTube, and I hope you will, because I've got some really wonderful things coming up for you this year. Light and love. See you later.